Joe, what are you nerding out about, sir?
Oh man! So this past weekend, I spent several hours cleaning up my office, my studio here, and yeah, I had let it get kind of really messy, especially with board games. Like all behind me right here used to be just a ton of board games, and so now all of the board games are put away up on the shelf up there, up on the top. Um, but yeah, it feels so much more open and clean, and it feels great. It makes me smile every time I come down here. So that's one thing that I'm nerding out about. The other thing though is an anime called Rising Impact. And I don't know if Steven's ever played this game, and Vito definitely hasn't. But we play a game on here where I say the anime name, and
Yes.
you have to guess what it's
What it's
about.
about. So the title is Rising Impact. All right.
Rising Impact. So,
Daddy Adams, what's your wholesome take on Rising Impact?
Well, I'm glad you asked because I've actually seen this anime before. Rising Impact is about a moment when the core of the Earth starts to solidify, and it does like a reversal meteor strike, and it opens up a big hole like in the ocean, and it turns solid. And then there's this tribe of lizard people that live on it, and those lizard people have to find ways to survive. And it's got a little kid lizard that you follow around, and he meets like other creatures and some humans. And it's just about really society rebuilding after the impact of this rising meteor, hence the name. So I'm glad you asked.
Wow. I kind of want to
Yeah,
watch
wild.
it. Sounds cool.
What do you think? You know?
What do I think it's about?
Yeah, what's Rising Impact, the anime, all about?
Oh man, if Steven didn't get it, man, I was honestly thinking Rising Impact was going to be some semblance of there's definitely mech suits involved, and they're going up into space,
right.
and we're trying to
right.
stop some sort of meteor or alien or something like that. That's where I was going to go with that, because I always feel like there's either space aliens or maybe cards. Definitely mechs. That's definitely a thing. Most of the anime I ever watched was Dragon Ball Z and Avatar, so that's kind of my basis there. Oh, I definitely watched Gundam
Watch
too.
out.
What was the one with the? Oh, where was the one where they had like animals shoot?
Zoids.
That was it. Yep, definitely watched that. Oh, and maybe some Sailor Moon, but don't tell anybody. Shoot, we're streaming.
I saw you trigger Joe's face, but he had to restrain not to correct you on some of the stuff you said there. So very good. Joe. But I've played. You guys are rookie moves. You're going with things that make sense. Joe does not watch anime that makes sense at all. So Rising Impact is a high school dating simulator based on the Road to movies by Bing Crosby and Bob Hope. But also the high school principal is a polar bear. But it's not about global warming. No. It is about the Nokia phone and how it should come back. That's what Rising Impact's all about.
The meteor was actually a Nokia phone, is what you're saying.
No, don't let me in with the losers. No, it's just a society, just a high school, really, that cares about the Nokia phone, and everybody else can't understand it, but they do. It's about superpowers.
I mean, could you imagine how much damage a Nokia phone could cause if it was dropped from orbit?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Bad day for someone.
what it's actually about is it's a golf anime.
I told you, sucker. It does not make sense at all. I told you.
That is heavily inspired by Arthurian legend.
King Arthur?
Yes. But I mean, half the cast is from Japan. But the main character who is from Japan is named Gawain. And then his friend, who at least he's an exchange student, is named Lancelot. But there's Arthur, Percival, the whole Knights of the Round. But instead of the round table itself, or I guess the 12 Knights of the Round Table, they have 12 golden clubs that if you win a tournament, you get one of the golden clubs. and the main character even refers to them as legendary weapons.
When did D'Artagnan showed up? What is there? That's what I want to know.
When does what?
D'Artagnan show up.
That's wrong series.
Wrong. Yeah.
Wrong series. You have golden golf clubs and a Japanese character named Gawain. Don't tell me I'm in the wrong series, sir.
And the person who scouts him for Camelot Academy for upcoming golfers is named Merlin.
I played
Good Lord.
And they visit the Camelot Academy in the UK, and that's where they meet Arthur. And yeah, so but it's called Rising Impact because that's what they call the main character's special ability to be able to when he hits the ball right on the center of the driver, he sees a flash of light in his mind, and they call that Rising Impact because the ball, as it's going in the anime, it rises 2 more times. Like it almost goes in a zigzag.
It gets a boost.
Yeah, it goes. And
we're still letting the podcast figure out what he did. We're not going to
like a screwball.
Exactly. And so I actually ended up liking it quite a bit. There's only 2 seasons so far, and it's definitely not done yet, and it's on Netflix. But yeah, the main character is like 6 or 7 years old, and he makes a lot of very interesting comments. Like before every tournament, he talks about how he's ready for the tournament because that morning he took a big poop, and stuff like that.
He's the lizard person, right? He's the kid that I was talking about.
Yep, exactly. So
okay,
but yeah, I enjoyed it. It was fun. Rising Impact.
So I happen to have a golden golf club. So now I'm curious.
Gawain, is that you?
Is that you?
Perhaps.
All right, I'm downloading it for my flight for tomorrow. I'm gonna try it out. So I'm downloading it to my phone. Oh, pause, download. Come on.
All right.
Oh, it's based off a manga too. Oh, it's on Netflix. All right.
Yeah.
We have some homework, gentlemen.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna watch it at lunch tomorrow because I gotta know. Or I gotta finish Delicious in Dungeon first, and then I can watch.
Oh, Delicious in Dungeon is so good. There were so many Delicious in Dungeon cosplays at Dragon Con. It was great.
They were the best. They were the best.
Steven, what are you nerding out about?
I was thinking a lot about this, and so I listened to last week's episode, or the last episode you have on the feed anyway, where Phil was here, and he talked all about WoW. So he kind of stole my nerding out because I did the same thing. So I had to come up with something new, and that was coming out of Dragon Con. You guys are familiar with that convention in Atlanta, where a bunch of nerds get together and pretend they're awesome for a weekend. It's great.
I've heard of it.
So I go, because I'm a nerd who wants to feel awesome for a weekend, and you come out of that with all kinds of creative energy and like, what am I going to make? What am I going to do? How am I going to do this? But for me, it also comes with a lot of FOMO of like, how am I going to stay involved with all these friends that I met? I got to get in their Discords, and I want to stay in tune with their Twitters and their socials, and I want to support their shows, and I want to listen to all this stuff. And one thing I was trying to figure out, like, okay, well, I also walked out there going, I failed completely at promotion this year. Like, I didn't have business cards. I didn't, like, you had to come talk to me and I would show you a QR code. Like, I couldn't just hand stuff out. I only had a handful of stickers because I wanted to make them myself to save money. Don't ever do that. That was a bad decision. You don't have the time nor energy to be sitting on the floor cutting out stickers yourself. Yeah, it's a terrible idea. So don't do that. But I've been nerding about like tools and stuff like that, things to use. So I asked in the Dragon Con Digital Media Discord about social media tools, and I've stumbled across or was reminded of Buffer .com about sending and posting more. So I've been posting across 4 networks with Buffer whenever we go live, or I have like something to remind people of, or like a cool thing. That's been kind of cool because it actually shows you some insights and some metrics around how those different networks do. So I'm using the 2-week trial to figure out what networks are wasting my time, because you can only post to, I think, 2 or 3 with the free account. So I have 4. So I put the 4 in there, and I'm finding out that Mastodon is worthless, which is kind of shocking to me. Blue Sky is kind of worthless, but I think it's because I don't follow enough people don't follow me. But I'm finding Threads engagement to be really, really good. Threads is it's real bad about showing you nothing but engagement bait in the For You column, and it's making me nuts. Like, I can't wait until they remake Indiana Jones is just something you would see, and then just 80,000 people are yelling in a thread. It's like, come on, y'all, we could do better than this. But I'm finding that to be really cool. So that's been a lot of fun. Speak Pipes, I learned from you guys. I've really been engaging in that. So I'm just finding new ways to try to communicate with the people that I want to engage with, sending stuff out, those were the days trying to lean into the retro side of what we do so I can get that community of nostalgia fans rallied around it. It's kind of like trying to learn how to actually brand ourselves into something. Like what does that look like? So I sat in on the brand panel with Swan and Steph and Mike and learned a lot about like how to do stuff. So I'm nerding out about that, just kind of figuring out how to put myself out there. But it comes with a level of like stress at the same time, because what I'll do is I'll FOMO myself into burnout. And then I'm like, I did that with TikTok last year. You remember that, Charles? I posted like 82 TikToks like after
I was having fun. I was duetting some of them, and he just fell off. I duetted one, and he just stopped doing them.
It's like Charles is on to me. I'm out.
I don't want this kind of attention, people.
So I'm trying to learn how to schedule things so it does it for me. Like when I feel like doing it, I put a bunch of posts out and I let it schedule them for me, like on Buffer, and then I can forget about it. And it kind of eases off that pressure sense of like I got to post every time. I just schedule them for a week and I walk away. And then if I need to pivot, I go delete it and change it. But I don't let it wear me out quite as much, which has been nice.
I guess I need to play with Threads because I really post to Instagram, which now tags and make sure it goes to Facebook, because I'm there, but I don't usually go to Facebook directly to post. And so I'm on Instagram and TikTok, and you commented something on one of my Instagrams, and it tied it to Threads. So then I saw some of the stuff you're writing on Threads. I'm like, all right, Instagram keeps trying to get me on the Threads. I'll give it a shot. Why not? But they're not cross connected, right? But it's like, doesn't Instagram own Thread? Anyway, that's not what we call it talking about. But it drives me crazy.
Yeah. I have found that Threads gets me the most people liking and communicating, talking about stuff. I've been impressed with that a lot, and it came with an audience, right? Like Blue Sky is really great. It's kind of like Twitter in the old days, but no one's there. Just nobody there. And Threads came with Instagram and Facebook audience just built in. Like if somebody clicks a button, they're on Threads now, and you've got them out there. And that's been really the main reason I've spent a lot of time there. And Twitter, it's there. I just don't visit it as much. They took away TweetDeck and it broke it. Like I don't want it anymore. That was the big thing.
Since they went to, I wasn't big on Twitter anyway, but since they went to X, I haven't. I'll wait till it lands. Stupid random kid here. I'm getting distracted by Charles's lips. His camera's oversaturated because it's getting darker, so now I don't have the depth behind me. So it looks like he's wearing lipstick. There we go. Onlyfans.com/Rendo Big O. Come on. But Vito, you gotta be nerding out about something.
There's a couple. So I was gonna say I was nerding out about a D&D session. I'm gonna do this halvesies. To piggyback off of what you said about Threads, I have a friend who just randomly was posting on Threads and just said like a Doctor Who thing, and then all the Doctor Who fans came and like 20,000 likes and whatnot, and then she kind of pivoted to doing Marvel and DC stuff, and then like the same people would get there. It's funny. Then she was like, I did this really cool thing at work or whatever. It's like 2 likes. And you're like, yep. Would you all want to talk about Captain Marvel? 20,000 likes. It's just really funny how the algorithm works in that sense.
Right.
I like Threads. It's fun, and then you can tag the threads that you're.
But what I'm hearing is, to a certain extent, you can find an audience well, I wouldn't say easier, but I kind of want to say easier there. It seems to,
Yeah.
if you use a hashtag, it seems to matter, perhaps.
I think more in that world, like more people in the worlds that we want to be in are ditching Twitter and going to Threads more. Because you're right about Blue Sky. I think Blue Sky is great, but it's just there's not a lot of traction. So it's hard to, it's hard to do, 3 different types of. I got to post on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and whatever. So, but what I'm nerding out about, I'll start with this. So I was sick last week, and when I got unsick, the ballast burnt out in our bathroom light, our fluorescent lighting fixture. So we had compounded vacations because of the way our work schedule worked. So my wife and I, with my parents, went to London for 2 weeks. I came back, went to work for 4 days. Then DragonCon happened. So I let this light just be half functional for a good month. I was like, all right, we need to fix this. So I got better and was like, all right, I got to do something. I got to get out of this guest room. I'm going to fix this thing. And I went, you know what? I'm not going to replace the ballast. I don't want fluorescent lighting anymore. I want LEDs. It's going to be more cost effective. I don't have to change bulbs anymore. It's going to be easy. So went to Home Depot and went, I want this fixture. Pulled the old fixture out, tried to put this new one up. It's not going to work with the leads. All right, go back to Home Depot. I'm going to fix this. My wife's like, we don't need to do this now. I'm like, nah, I'm in the zone.
Yeah, I'm in the zone.
Went
The
there.
auto zone.
There you go.
Brought to you by AutoZone.
So then second time I went, it's like, this is the fixture I want. And they're like, okay, hey, would you just open this one? Well, here's a brand new box you can take. Great. Brought it back home. Wasn't the same fixture. Same box and everything.
Oh,
Not the same
no.
fixture. I need the leads to go through the side, and it wanted to be, again, flush mount for the top. So I went, okay, back to Home Depot. Went to Home Depot, got the third time. Got it up in the air, got it functional, first shot, wired it all together, turned it on, let there be light. And I went, you know what? I feel accomplished. And I'm just super like nerding out at like, I'm doing the dad chores, just straight up choring and accomplishing a good fixture change. And my wife was like, oh, cool, there's lights. It's like, you don't understand. I pulled something out of the ceiling, and
I went through an epic journey to get here. You want a quick tip there? A 25-cent metal bit would put a hole right in the side of it for you, and you could have just done it that way.
Yeah.
But you got the job done. No, I get it, man. I get it. Just that you hit a boundary, you overcame the boundary, and you just put in the effort, and you tried something you'd never tried before, and you succeeded. That's awesome.
Home ownership is fun and hard, and the joys of with just the little repairs you learn how to do when you didn't have that. So that was just something that I nerded out on. I definitely also nerded out on a D&D session, but that seemed more like that felt more with the dad theme.
Hey, we do it all, man. So tell me about the D&D as well. What got you going there?
I'll go quick. So I do a remote. It's weekly, bi-weekly, whenever we can. It's fully remote because we have friends across the country, and we started this in 2020 during the pandemic just to play a session. And we had one friend DM, and we've been kind of doing this with multiple different campaigns since then. So like 4 years. But we started Curse of Strahd. We did a few sessions, and there was a moment where half the party wanted to do leave the town and go find somebody, and half the party wanted to stay and be a part of an event. And we legitimately had this conversation, like, are we gonna split the party? Which always sounds like a bad idea, especially in Strahd. But we did that, and the DM said, we'll make different sessions. And because it was remote, it worked out where we could we completely cut each other off, had different chats to talk about what we were doing. So I had no idea what the other people were doing outside of the DM. So 2 whole months happened, and of doing 5 sessions, 2 months. And yesterday, and because of my travel and DragonCon, so it ended up being 3 whole months total. We got together yesterday, and the whole session was literally just us at a campfire, all talking about the stuff that we did. They did a whole separate campaign side quest. We did a whole separate campaign side quest. And we spent 2.5 hours of our normal just D&D session time talking about it in character, out of character, how cool it was. And it was one of those things, like, I love RPGs and tabletops, White Wolf, Deadlands, all of it, because of that moment. It's like, and these are also friends where there's some of the friends I didn't see for 3 weeks because we weren't part of the campaign at the time. So that was a kind of I was nerding out about that. I was having a good time. My wife was like, "Man, you look like you had a good time." I was like, "I saw 2 of our friends, and we got to see the cool stuff they did, the cool stuff we did. We came up with a plan, and that was the campaign. It was just like hanging out with friends. So it was just kind of cool stuff. I love doing stuff like that.
That's awesome. I remember playing a campaign with DM once, and we did it real hardcore. Like, if I'm gonna give something to you, like I'm gonna give you a note that says something, so only you really know it, so nobody had to worry about like character knowledge invading, or the player knowledge and the character knowledge split. It's so cool. Like, that sounds amazing to me.
And this is one of the reasons you come out live or go to our YouTube channel to watch the video. So when you said the Council of Strider or whatever it was, 2 heads went, "Oh, I know what you're doing." I'm going, sure, whatever you say, sure. I mean, but they were like that with you, and then to see the smile on Daddy Steven's face when you're talking about the friendship and the splitting, and he was just the beaming. You got to come see the faces. You got to come out and watch the video. It's crazy. It's awesome.
Get real wholesome.
I'm going to go tech dad nerdy, right? And this is Fatherhood meets Fandom, right? It's Joe and I are fathers. We love talking about our work to each other. We like talking about our kids. We have questions. We want to know things. We want to pass on information to our kids. All these different things. But we're nerds, and we want to talk about rising golf clubs or whatever it is, and have fun that way. So this is for all the audio tech nerds right now. As I was getting online tonight, I was before I got online, I said, well, Joe doesn't really record a lot of times the Patreon, right? And so if I'm gone, we might miss out on that. How am I going to record that? And I remembered a program I bought a little while back, and it is only for the Mac, right? The Apple OS system. I believe most of their programming is, but it's by a company called Rogue Amoeba. And you can sponsor this show anytime because I swear by Rogue Amoeba products. And I'm about to share the screen here for those listening on the podcast. You can go watch the clip at the end of the show. But this is Audio Hijack. And this is a template that was just built in. I went in and said, wait, I remember I bought it a while back because I had a problem where I lost audio right from recording, but we had the video, but I did not have access to that YouTube channel to download the video and strip the audio. So I had to record the audio. So I got Audio Hijack to let you listen to anything. You can have software, you can listen to the system, you can listen to whatever. And so I was able to hit play on the YouTube video, have it listen to the audio and record the MP3 for me that could then produce for that client and put it out. So I have it still on my computer. So, let me see what to do. This was a setting to do a remote podcast through VoIP. And so it's already set up. I just had to pick my beats for my microphone. And as you can see, I'm on my own channel recording my own track. And then the audio application, which I went with Google Chrome, right? So record StreamYard here. You have your own VU meters. You guys see the screen. Somebody say something. Watch this.
Hi, Charles.
And it's old school VU meters that go back and forth, and I love it. And you have your own track. And then it splits up all the audio.
And you have your own track. And you going full Oprah over here.
Right? But then it has the auto mix track, right? And it's just built in. I think this was like a $40 program, maybe $100. I don't remember. I bought it so long ago, I don't remember. It's amazing. I love Audio Hijack. And I wish this was a paid sponsorship. I really do, but it's just it's so amazing.
It's so good, dude. We used to use it back in the day, years ago. We're talking 2007, 2008. I had Audio Hijack on a Mac. I would kill for this on Linux and Windows. Like, absolutely. Like, voice meter's a thing, but this is just so intuitive. Rogue Amoeba, they make amazing stuff. I would pay for that 3 times. Like, just looking at it, it's gorgeous.
Man, I'm so glad you guys have brought so many different things that I just copy paste, SpeakPipe, okay, Rogue Amoeba, okay, Buffer, okay, this was so cool that was neat.
Yeah, and I thought I'd have to build it. It's very much a plug and play. It drops a cube in. You say I needed to be an input device, and you pick a device. I needed to grab. So I thought I was going to have to build the chain myself. What really made me nerd out about tonight is I'm going to talk about this in my nerding out. Is it was just like, what do you want to do? and I picked the button, and it came set up. I just had to drop it in Chrome in one, my Beats in the other, and it's done. And then you just hit run on the screen, and it's recording at 44.1 kilohertz automatically.
Let's
So
go.
it's my fun point tonight.